Johnson, thank you so much for allowing me to observe your classroom.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think went well in your lesson? So, your learning target was what is China's Road Belt Initiative in that lesson. So, what do you think went well?
I think the concept is pretty difficult, so I think breaking it down, trying to build vocab, because we'd done that the previous, in a class that you hadn't seen, we had built the explicit instruction of the vocab. And then this class we're kind of developing on the idea, what are examples of it, and what are things that connect with the kids, but it can be a little tricky for them, I think, at times.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really enjoyed how, as your students walked in, they knew what the routines that you had in place. They got the bell workout. They looked at the slideshow. They were writing down. They were trying to answer the question, the bell work question. So I really liked that, and it seemed like you had a really good relationship with your students. Students were coming up to you. I know one of the students asked, "Hey, Miss Johnson, can you help me with this?" And you jumped right up, started helping them with their notebook. And then another thing that I observed is you gave a student a snack. They asked, "Hey, Miss Johnson, I haven't eaten. Can I get a snack?" And you were like, "Yeah, there's a snack right there for you." So I think that just speaks volumes to how you build relationships with students, and I think you did that really well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and then something also that I noticed, the students were a little bit confused about the learning target in the EQ, because like you said earlier, it's a little complex. And one of the questions I have for you is, how can you kind of break down the essential question for the learning target?
Yeah, I think one of the things, and that's what's nice about the routine of having bell work at the start of class, is that I can ask specifically targeted questions. So the next class, I was able to ask about examples and have them, for the initial one, for the question they get asked, I asked them to redefine or to define again in their own words neo-imperialism. And then we'd start a video after you left the observation that day. And so that was providing some examples. And so our class answer that everybody had to write down was relating to that video and an example of neo-imperialism to help reinforce it. So I do think that part of the routine really helps the kids, because I'll tell them and be honest of this is the essential question we've been practicing. It's the same one that's on your study guide. That means it's likely gonna be on the test. And so you wanna invest in those ones, and so they'll typically be motivated in that regard, but also everything is on the study guide, so
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is to build that academic language, you kind of do some repetition in your classroom where, hey, here's the essential question, right? And then later on you watch a movie that kind of defines and helps students understand. This is the academic language that you're going to use today and in the test as well. So you're kind of reinforcing, hey, this is we're gonna do repetition and make sure that.
And they'll do an exit question too with that same idea of repetition in place of getting stuff down. But I think that routine really helps, and then I just use it as an opportunity, because I'm a big believer of I can have guidelines of how the year's gonna go, but if I figure out the kids can't come up with their own sentence on their own, or how they can't come up with how to change the question into this, I want to reinforce the skills that I feel the class needs. So even on the day-to-day, I know one class is great at reading for comprehension. I know another class struggles with it, so I'll usually model reading the article for them rather than a different group, where the other groups they really do phenomenally in small groups and things like that. And then there's other classes, so I'm a big believer of adjusting to the needs of the students that are in your room during the time they're in the room. I'm not gonna die on the hill of it needs to be done this way, and oh well, they can't read, so we're just gonna charge for it. It's then I'm gonna read it to them or try to break it down so it's more simplified.
And I really like how you say that you like to model to students. And my next question was, hey, how do you best support your different learners in your classroom when you answer that question? Is depending on the class, different classes have different strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
So I think that's just really cool how you differentiate your instruction depending on the class.
Yeah.
And I know that you had sentence frames. Do you think there's like another strategy you could use to help with that differentiation in your classroom? With just maybe there's like a student that really can't, it's not at that reading level. Is there something else that you do? I know that you said that you read to them, but is there different supports that you can offer them?
Yeah, I've actually used some AI so that I can take articles that are at like grade level reading, and for some of my students that are on a modified diploma or on IEPs with looking at their target goals for what their reading level is, and using that to adjust it to a third grade reading level or a first grade reading level, so that those students can access the content in the same manner, and printing it out in advance so that when I'm going around and handing them out, it's still part of the stack of papers that I'm handing out, but I can kind of slide them the one that is going to be best suited for their reading level.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's actually really really good that you do that. And then just from what I observed, I know that there was some rowdy students at the beginning of class.
Oh, it's
and-
fourth period. You better believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah. There was a kid who was there was a student who accidentally spilled water, and they were kind of making like a big ruckus, you know, being really loud. And I really liked how you just politely said, "Hey, make sure that you know you're being responsible and cleaning it up." I really like how you just held the student accountable, but at the same time, you're like, "Hey, if you need help, I can."
Yeah, I try to treat them like they're real people, and I always tell them like, and it's a joke, but like I'm not their maid, but nobody in the school building is. Like
Yeah.
our custodial staff does a phenomenal job of in the evenings getting our school reset and ready to go for the next day of learning. They don't need things added to their plate. I'm not cleaning up after, because you need to learn to clean up after yourself. You know,
Yeah.
there's like the real world lesson of like accountability. So I'm a big believer and I can set the kid up to be successful, even if it is just like, hey, I've got paper towels in the back for you to clean up your water, or I've got pencils in the cart up front, like, because if a kid doesn't come with a pencil, and same thing with like notebooks at the start of the semester, I just want to make sure everybody has what they need. But also like the practicality of like life skills. If you spill something, you need to clean it up.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. The way you responded to that was just was very good. And then something that I wanted to focus on was just the environment that you create for all learners. I noticed that everyone seems to be on their best behavior. It seems like you have a really good relationship with students. What strategies do you use to build that community in your classroom? How do you think you can improve that?
I would say I care about them, like as people. So at the start of the semester, like I really do want to try to learn their names as quickly as I can. And so I do tell them that. I'm like, I'm going to put you alphabetically because for my mind, that makes the most sense. But I genuinely go around and try to connect with the kids, and I think they pick up on that, especially with the class, because I've had most of those students, not all of them before, but it doesn't take a very long time for the kids to figure out, like, she really wants to help me, like, or
Yeah.
she sees that I'm struggling with this, and so, but I always make it a point of, I can't read minds, so if you don't tell me that you need help, I can't help you. Like, I mean, when I'm coming around saying, do you need help, and you tell me no, like,
Yeah.
I take that as a you don't need my help, and so I think they know that they can ask me and they can come to me, and I probably have a little bit of bias with the kids because I do have snacks in my room, so I
Yeah.
let them like, but I also believe like if they're about to take a test, it's fourth period, they didn't eat for whatever reason, you know, that I just, you know, I go around and I hand everybody a fruit snack before they take their test and like wish them luck. I want them to know that they're supported, and that there's somebody in their corner like rooting for them.
Rooting for them.
Yeah, and so I think it helps with behavior and stuff like that, because I usually can't call kids out pretty,
Mhm.
like in a way that is like not bad, but like I can redirect and I can hold them accountable in a way that's not going to be a battle every time.
Yeah, and I think that's super important. Just,
Yeah.
You know, today's school climate where students are trying to find a sense of belonging, I
Mhm.
think that's super important. I think you're doing a great job, you know, creating content for different learners, and at the same time creating a classroom environment where students feel welcome and safe. Overall,
appreciate it. Do you have any constructive
Yeah.
thank you for that positive feedback, but is there anything that you would want to address in terms of
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a visual learner.
okay.
So I think something that you could potentially work on is maybe having something for those visual learners. Like I know, like when I was reading the EQ, what is China's World Belt Initiative? In my mind, I was thinking, oh, is it a belt? You know, I was confused because as an English
Okay, yeah.
learner growing up, you know what I mean. I really didn't understand a lot of.
Yeah, like it's a turn of phrase. It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah. So just
like where's the pants?
Yeah,
like
no,
okay.
exactly. Yeah. So maybe there's a way where you can put an image.
Yeah.
That kind of goes.
Represents why it's called that and what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
It's China's expansion, but also it's like the belt and the buckle are like it bringing it together like a belt would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
exactly.
great. Thank you.
So yeah, just something for the visual learners, and that's about it. Yeah. Overall, I think you did a great job.
Awesome. Thank